Okay, everybody, we are back with TMNT3. We've got omqwhat running, who is the world record holder, and his time is so good. It is actually better than the co-op time of our commentary world record holders, PJ and Mecha Richter. So
yes, it is.
This is going to be a pretty amazing run. I'm not going to talk for any longer. I'm going to hand it over to PJ and Richter. Go ahead, guys. Have fun with it.
All right, thanks so much, Scott.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, this is going to be a treat. This run's really cool. I'm PJ, as he said, joined by Mecha Richter here.
Hello.
We'll give a quick countdown now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so TMNT3 is it's a pretty crazy game. Oh, he's going to be playing in the Japanese version too. All right, so the reason he's using this version is because you can choose the number of lives at the beginning. The US version is forced to, what, 3 lives?
I think something like that, yeah.
But in the Japanese version, you can pick up to 7. The reason this is important is not just because it makes it easier, but you can change turtles whenever you die. And the turtles in this game have different special attacks. So the Psycho Crusher thing that Raph is using here, the HP draining special that's killing everything, that's unique to him. And Leo and Mike and Dr. C have their own their own unique abilities as well.
Some people call him Donatello, but the proper
they're
name
wrong,
is
though.
Dr. C.
So yeah, he's using Raph. He'll probably be using Raph primarily through most of these stages. I think he might switch to Leo on the elevator, and maybe Dr. C and Mike get through some of the other stages, but primarily he's going to be using Raph for the stages because the Psycho Crusher covers so much distance, and your move speed otherwise is pretty abysmal. And then before bosses, he'll probably switch off and take a more efficient damage dealer.
Yeah, the problem with Raph is he's really good for like getting across the screen and like zoning out enemies, but for like bosses, his special is actually the weakest out of the 4.
Mm-hmm.
So it's better, or more ideal to like use a different turtle who has more attack power.
Yeah, so the main attacks that you have in this game, it's much like TMNT2. You have a dive kick, you have a standard normal swing, and then your like A plus B attack. In TMNT2 is like the jump swing that you use, but in this game that's your special attack here. Net drains 1 health every time you use it, but you can use it at 1. So, like a lot of this game, a lot of this run is just like Danger Mario strats. You're gonna have 1 health and you're just gonna be playing through and hoping that you kill everybody before you take damage. And then one other attack that you have, which is, I believe, unique to this, is a shovel attack, where he's like poking him in the gut and flipping him over his shoulders. And that's, I think, a 1-hit KO on all foot soldiers, and then on other enemies it's like 2 damage or something.
Sometimes it still acts as 1. There's like a certain robot that like jumps across the screen. You can like scoop him up 3 times to kill him. Or you can use a special and kill him 1 hit.
That was a really good Rocksteady fight.
Yeah, it was.
So one thing that's really dangerous about Raph's special is that when he reaches the edge of the screen, it instantly ends. So you're invincible. All the turtles are invincible in the middle of their special attacks. And then once it ends, you're vulnerable again. So when Rocksteady, or really any boss, is just hanging out at the edge of a screen, and you use a special attack and then it ends, you are instantly vulnerable to a counterattack. It's not ideal. So things got a little bit dicey there, but he handled it really well. Alright, so stage 2 is... Stage 2 is kind of tricky because it's hard to fight the impulse to just kill all the foot soldiers. But it causes a tremendous amount of lag, and lag is not your friend in this game. So what you're seeing here is actually another lag reduction strat. In addition to not killing the foot soldiers that jump out of the water because they linger on screen for too long, omqwhat intentionally suicided here and is not respawning. He's choosing to not respawn, so that there's one fewer sprite on screen during all of these waves. And it might not seem like much, but it's a huge amount of time that it saves.
Yeah, if you see it with like 2 players, it's like a drastic difference. And,
Yeah, it crawls.
Unfortunately, he can't just stay dead forever. After like 15 seconds, they bring you back in the game automatically. Unless you're in co-op and you game over, that's the one exception.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, co-op even like locks the screen, so you can't move forward.
Yeah. It's different on that stage because it's an auto-scroller.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so we see our first non-Raph turtle here. He doesn't really need Raph's Psycho Crusher. He doesn't need to cover distance quickly here. The spawns, with the exception of this screen where the foot soldiers spawn on random sides, all of the other spawns are fixed. So he's able to just camp out over a spawn point and just kill everything. And Leo is a monster.
Yeah, his special just lingers forever and it covers so much distance.
So I'm not actually sure if he will switch characters. I think he's going to fight Ground Chuck with Leo. I think Leo's pretty good for this fight.
Yeah, I think Dr. C does like very slightly more, but I don't think it's enough to switch.
Yeah, Dr. C I think does 1 more damage than Leo. But
Well,
Leo's pretty efficient still.
Yeah.
Is that 1 hit away from the 1 cycle?
Yeah, he got really close to 1 cycle. That's crazy.
Yeah, so Ground Chuck has he's kind of a 2-phase fight. At the very beginning, he'll charge back and forth, and that's about it. And then when his health drops below a certain threshold, he walks up to the top of the screen and rips the pipe out of the wall, and starts beating you with the pipe. But he's invincible as he rips the pipe off the wall. So ideally, and if you get the right pattern, and if you're standing in the right spot, you can kill him before he does that, and it just never happens. He just dies in the middle of his charge. But it's pretty tough, and only I think only Dr. C and Leo can do it. Good old Bebop in the car throwing hand grenades.
Yeah. It's a normal day in Manhattan, huh? Completely tore up bridge.
Yeah. No, that's the spring roads.
Oh.
Standard New York roads after winter.
Salt did the job.
Alright, so we're seeing some of the limitations here of Leo, and why it's so much handier to have Raph in a single player run. So the Psycho Crusher travels really quick. It covers a lot of distance in a hurry. The Dive Kick also does that, but the enemies in this game are hard-coded to counterattack, and they read your inputs. This is some really good positioning.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Just gonna keep swinging. Holy smokes. Okay. Yeah, it's a perfect Slash fight.
Yeah.
Super, super good. Yeah, Slash is a jerk. Sometimes he like jumps all over the screen. Sometimes he'll roll around. You want him to stay like exactly there and swing. You can kind of take advantage of the enemy targeting in the hitboxes. Slash has a pretty disadvantageous hitbox on like the bottom half, and Leo's hitbox on his special is really tall. So you can stand underneath them and you'll just like you'll never be hit. But sometimes you can do tricky things like shift planes unexpectedly or roll around, stuff like that. But Yeah, it was a good fight. And this is Bebop, Beanie Bop. He's gonna throw this wrecking ball hat thing. This is a really interesting strat that omqwhat uses. I was never able to get this to work. I don't know if this is a really precise position or what, but essentially Bebop has 2 attacks. He can throw the hammer, and when he does that, he drops all of his iframes, and you can just wail on him. Or if you hit him when he's not doing that, he'll counterattack with the kick. But Leo's special attack lingers long enough that you can hit him, trigger the counterattack, and hit him once afterwards. So you can just like trap him against the Jeep and finish him that way. It's a really cool strat. Yeah, so what I was saying before about Raph and the Psycho Crusher covering distance, you might think on paper that like you don't really need that because you can just cover distance with the dive attack, but these foot soldiers especially, you saw 2 of them at the top there just punch, even though Leo was really nowhere close. The enemies will read your inputs, and the moment that they see you're doing a dive kick, they just punch. Whether or not you're close, they just do it. So using it to cover distance is kind of pointless when the enemies are just gonna punch you out of the air anyways. So yeah, the turtles really have no good way to close the gap without using their specials, or without doing like an empty dive kick into an empty plane or something. So Leo served his purpose, and we're back to Raph. I guess one of the really convenient things about this run is that most of the spawns are in fixed locations. Some of the enemies will pick like a random side to spawn on. Some of them will have like some slight variation in what plane they spawn on, but generally all of the enemies are fixed. So it's pretty interesting to try and route out where you have to stand and in what direction you want to attack and stuff like that. But some of the enemies, I don't remember if it's this wave or if it was the purple wave later. Maybe you remember, Mecha, the crazies that just walk on stage and then sometimes jump all over the place.
Oh, these guys?
These ones here.
Yeah, the loot stores. Yeah,
Yeah, these dudes are bonkers.
yeah, I can't remember. I remember we had a lot of trouble with them, but I don't know if their positions are fixed or not.
I think they are slightly random.
Yeah. I think it's just different because we're on co-op, so they like pick who the target at the start. So I think they're just like a proxy that they send me.
Okay.
That being said, I don't know. They're the crazies. They do whatever they want.
Yeah, they're super dangerous enemies. Most of the enemies will do similar things, like they'll behave somewhat consistently. Like the red shuriken dudes will always try and square up with you and then throw 3 shurikens, and some of the kunai foot soldiers are pretty consistent too, but the purple dudes, certain purple foot soldiers, are just bonkers. And they'll just take like seemingly random actions that don't make any sense, and they just mind games you like crazy. These dudes do with the anvils. We call them the Grand Masters because their mind games are unmatchable.
Yeah, like they'll try to bait you and then you special. Like if I use the blender special with Leo, they'll like wait for me to get close and they'll back up and then throw it on me after I use it.
The frame perfect anvil toss.
And the other thing with the crazies are they're invincible when they do that jump kick. So you have to wait for them to land before you can actually take them out.
Oh, are they actually invincible?
Yeah.
Oh, just like that. Yeah, good demonstration.
Oh, the yellow ones aren't though. You can take them out of there.
The yellow ones? The ones that frog splash?
Yeah, you can actually screen wrap them if you hit them like the very top of their jump.
Oh man, Dr. C appears. Alright. So Dirtbag is a tricky boss. He's got a lot of really interesting AI quirks that you can take advantage of. This is the strat that I prefer, just pushing him into the corner and using... It's similar to what he did against Bebop in Stage 3 with Leo, where you hit him and bait the counterattack and your special is still lingering through the counterattack, so you don't take any damage and then you can just trap him in a loop that way. But it's slightly faster to... Or rather, you can hit slightly more frequently if you fight him in the middle of the screen and you try and hit him like twice per special. But Dirtbag tends to change sides pretty frequently. And if he does that, then you only get hit once, and sometimes he can gain a lot of ground on you and then hit you with a laser or something. So the strat that he started using there was a pretty scary strat. But it worked out really well.
It's having a really good group with these guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. This is like some randomness with like what the foot soldiers do. You can take out like the top 2 ones pretty easily, but the bottom one, it's just... You're just at the mercy of what they decide to do.
Yeah, this is a really dangerous section too. It doesn't look like it, but if the flies get away, they're really tough to hit, and it delays the spawning of the next set of flies. And just like the Grandmasters, if you do a special, sometimes the foot soldier will just wait until you're done and then do a dive kick or something on you. So we've gotten some pretty amusing situations from that fly wave, but yeah, that was really good. That went really well. So Dr. C is pretty great in this stage. Raph isn't really necessary here because the enemies tend to be slightly tighter grouping. They're not like spread to the extreme edges of the screen. Most of them, when they spawn, are like spawning right in the center.
Wow, that Belmondo brought honor to his family.
Oh, switching to Raph. Okay.
Oh, that was potential. Okay. Actually, that makes sense for the next section.
Yeah, true.
Fight even. He doesn't really have like a lot of iframes until he like does a certain attack, but it's rare when he does that. It feels like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious who he's gonna use for Leatherhead. Maybe he will stick with Raph just because it's a little bit safer to survive the counterattacks. Yeah, so I guess we can talk about Leatherhead since he's coming up. Leatherhead's a really dangerous boss. His AI script kind of accelerates as his health gets lower. And generally speaking, he's gonna try and zone you. So he'll walk up to you and then back away real quick and fire his gun. Or walk up to you and then back away and scurry forward with a charge or something. And after you hit him, he counterattacks with a spin attack. And most of the turtles have specials that either linger in place or nearby. So hitting him with the special will bait out the counterattack, and then he'll just clobber you afterwards. But Raph gets pretty far away, so he's not going to have to worry about that quite as much. Raph does the least amount of damage of any of the turtles, so this fight's going to be, I don't know, 5 or 6 hits slower, but just the fact that it's so much safer is going to end up winning in the long run, I think.
It's also save him possibly dying and then having to, use another life, and that's how many seconds there? About 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely a good trade-off.
Yeah, and that was a good fight.
Oh, and using Raph is really good here too, so that makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of zoning in this stage too.
Yeah, these enemies are spread really far apart. Especially the egg waves. Yeah, these enemies spawn on both sides of the screen. They're all over the place. So yeah, using Raph is kind of what you have to do here. And again, you can only swap turtles after you die. So even if you use Dr. C or someone else, some more efficient turtle on Leatherhead, he would certainly be losing time in this stage from not having Raph's coverage.
Just admiring this run. It's really good.
Yeah, I mean, he's been working at this game for a long time. His times are incredibly good. He's put in a ton of work with the route. Just walking between them, excuse me.
They're not causing no harm. They're just, you know, shooting a bazooka up in the air.
Look at that pyrotechnics.
Yeah.
Alright, so killing these computer bugs is actually really tough with Raph. So we mentioned earlier that the special attack is jump and then attack, the same input as TMNT2. The difference is that you can actually use this attack at different heights. So if you roll really quickly from A to B, like B 1 frame after A, then you'll use it pretty close to the ground. But if you delay, if you press A and then wait, 7 or 8 frames and then press B, you can get a pretty high special. And that's actually required for Raph or for Dr. C to kill the computer bugs as they fly out of the window.
Leo has to do it pretty high too.
Does he?
Yeah.
Wow. It's really just Mike that can boot them?
Yeah, just like a natural special, I think.
Oh, I didn't even see him kill the third robot. I thought he got the robot special where he just like ducks off screen.
Oh yeah.
Waits for you to back up and then shoots you.
You're gonna try to attack me? I'm gonna jump way off the screen and then shoot this bullet at you.
So this conveyor belt ride is honestly a lot more menacing than it looks. Because these dudes sometimes just linger like right around where the electric barriers are. So if you try and kill them with a slower attack like the shovel or a normal swing, then the electric barrier will kill you. And sometimes they'll just like hang out on the edge of the screen in timings such that if you use your special, it's going to expire when an electric barrier is coming through. So they can play some pretty mean mind games. Alright, speaking of pretty mean mind games, here's Razar. Leo doesn't really care what Razar has to say, though, especially Leo with a full health bar. He's just gonna stand in place and special, and this fight's gonna be no problem. Nice.
Good fight.
He retreated to the edge there because your controls are locked, and you have to wait for Leo to pilot over the floor. After you finish the floor, the better. Alright, and then so Shredder is another fight that's actually a lot more menacing. It appears more menacing than it really is. Rip. Yeah, so Shredder, when you hit him, he tends to get flinched. So you can kind of stand your ground, and you'll hit Shredder, and Shredder will like flinch away instead of attacking, and then every once in a while he'll jump to the wall and dive back down. And when he does that, he loses his iframe. So if things go well, the only attack that Shredder is going to use is one that makes himself more vulnerable. So Leo actually has a pretty good time with that fight. Leo is also the turtle of choice for the elevator here. Leo's special lingers for a really long time, and this is a really limited area. So using Raph is actually really dangerous here because this special has a tendency to launch you off the side of the screen.
Leo's is the only one that stands in place, actually, so he's just perfect for this area.
Yeah, and the platform riders take 2 hits.
Yeah.
So Leo, like, the first hit will knock them off the platform, and then they fall into the rest of the blender and die. So, like, these dudes have no chance. You just stand here, and that's the end of them. I expect after this wave he's gonna jump off the elevator and take Raph. Yeah, here we go. Yep. Alright, so Rooftop is super dangerous. This is where Mecha and I usually lose at least a dozen lives.
The stage is the gatekeeper.
Yeah, these dudes, like, all the purples are the crazies. So you have to look out for them. And they also have the Scimitar foot soldiers. And those dudes are hyper aggressive in this stage. But yeah, enemies just spawn from like all corners. You really have to memorize like where all of the enemies are going to be coming from. And if you're playing single player and aiming for speed, there's really no option except to use Raph.
Yeah, the scimitars are really, like, they're really menacing because they'll just like walk up to you and you'll die for seemingly no reason, but it's like they just like try to grab you.
Yeah, the wet floor special. The turtle just falls over and you die. You're like, what the heck?
And the buzz bees, they can be a little scary, but you didn't have any problem with them. It's really just like the first one, timing the first like wave of buzz bees, and the other ones, depending on like when you kill them, you'll know like it's as soon as they show up.
Yeah, because those dudes zoom out of the side of the screen.
Yeah.
These waves are just completely fixed, and Raph is a monster, so
yeah,
this is no big deal.
Just pick them all off.
Alright, the end of this stage is really rough. There are a lot of projectile foot soldiers, the boomerang throwers, and these kunai dudes.
The toenails.
Yeah, the toenail throwers. These like laser wave dudes. Yeah, the enemies here are just really dangerous, and they can do some really mean zoning, where they just like keep controlling what planes you have access to until they push you to the bottom of the screen and finish the job. Okay. So here's the better half of Razar. Here's Toka. Bringing out Dr. C. Alright, so Toka doesn't move a whole lot. He likes to hold his ground and do this rapid punch attack, or like set up for this this chomp.
That was a sick fight.
It was, yeah. And Dr. C's special does a ton of damage and doesn't move very far. So he's well equipped to handle Toka.
Yeah, as annoying as that fight is, just like how he fights is really cool because like he has his shield, and if you try to jump kick him, he'll block it, and then he'll like punch you into the sign. It's really great.
Yeah, that was really good. We were trying to work in a counterattack strat against Toka at one point, where one of us would lock him into the shield thing while the other one just continuously wailed on him. It didn't work. He was onto our plans. He put us both in the sign. Okay, so this is the final stage. This stage is really rough. It's super, super long. There are 2 pizzas here. But the first pizza is after what we call the pizza rush, because they just keep putting these super dangerous and unpredictable enemies right after each other. And the panic escalates when you're at 1 health for so long, and after you have so many close calls.
Yeah, and they throw like every single type of enemy at you.
Like the helicopters indoors.
Yeah.
These dudes, the baseball stars.
Baseball stars. You got the rock soldiers. You got the bucket thrower.
Is there a bucket thrower in Pizza Rush?
Yeah, I think it's right before them, isn't it?
Oh, there are the eggs. That might have been intentional. This might be a raft swap. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, the problem with these eggs is they always spawn, like, they never spawn at the same time. But you can, like, poke one of them, so they'll, like, open up at the same time, but it delays them every time you poke them.
Yeah, the eggs are pretty annoying, and sometimes they'll just, like, drop one on the edge of the screen. You're like, well, alright.
Or on you if you're not, like, ready for it.
Yeah, congratulations, here's your time loss. Oh, yeah, the bucket throwers. Okay. And then the crazies. Yeah, I think the crazies are the last wave before pizza, because this is where we normally die. Yeah, there it is.
Have we talked about fake toss at all?
I was gonna say, I don't think that was intentional. I thought he was just saving us some health for the Mauser fight. Wow, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
No, we haven't talked about fake toss.
I don't know if it really came up at all.
No, I don't think it happened to him. So the shovel attack that we mentioned, super good for killing foot soldiers if you're not going to use your special attack. The shovel attack can throw a foot soldier into another foot soldier. And if you press down B again, down and attack again, the shovel input, as the corpse is being thrown into the other foot soldier, the target foot soldier will die. Okay, intentional game over here to refill his lives.
Yeah.
Taking just a single life into stage 8B is very ballsy. And there's a checkpoint right here.
Yeah, that's the one good thing about this stage is it's really long, but there's 2 parts to it. So if you game over, you'll restart the beginning of this stage as opposed to the previous stage.
Mm-hmm.
But the stage is also really long, so if you die like near the end, it's really unfortunate.
Yeah, from here to the bosses is as long, if not longer, than the previous section of 8 in its entirety. And the pizza that he picked up at the beginning of the screen is the last pizza in the game. Alright, here's your favorite wave.
I love this section.
So one thing that... Oh, right, with fake toss. I guess I'll finish that story. Yeah, so if you use the shovel attack and you press down B again to kill the other foot soldier that you get, you throw the first one into, the next time you use the shovel, it won't kill the enemy. It just pokes them in the stomach and then they punch you. And sometimes fake toss will linger for the rest of a stage. I think it lasts until you kill an enemy with the weak shovel. I think. So it's pretty easy to fix in co-op, but in single player, I imagine if you enable fake toss, it can be a pretty big problem. But yeah, all these other attacks, they award different point values when you kill an enemy. So killing an enemy with a shovel gives you 400 points. Killing an enemy with basic attacks does, what, 600, 800? You know offhand?
I thought it was only 500.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. It's different based on what enemy it is, too. And yeah, special does 100.
Specials 2.
Oh, is it 2? Okay.
Yeah.
But like those orbs that he was taking out earlier, if you shoveled them, they give you 1,000. As opposed to basic attacks where it's like, I think like 500.
Yeah, and special still gives 200 for them too.
Yeah. It's really strange that they changed it for that. But I guess since it only dies in one hit, that could be why? I'm not sure.
Yeah, the electric orbs in the surfing section in stage 2 are the same point values.
Yeah, and the
Shoveling
Mauser.
gives 1,000. And Mausers, yeah. And since lives are so critical in this game, not only because you're playing at 1 health, but also because you use your lives to switch turtles. And lives are awarded based on points. For certain situations like those bouncy balls that come out of the wall, or if you're not doing lag reduction strats in stage 2, or the Mauser wave in stage 5, if you want to kill enemies with the attack that's going to give you the most points. Alright, Super Krang. Super Krang is a jerk. Alright, so he has 3 phases. The first phase is generally pretty simple. You can just force him into the wall and then destroy him. The second phase, the Pants Wave, is super rough. His legs will just jump around from side to side, and then his torso will fly around and try and bonk you with a hammer. And then phase 3 is the same as phase 1, except he'll do this electric counterattack. But again, Leo's hitboxes are super advantageous, so you can kind of stay out of reach of his counterattack and just smash him against the wall.
Yeah, he has no iframes except when he does that electric attack on the 3rd phase. So you just go to town on him and don't stop.
Yeah, he just damage race. Alright, and then Super Shredder. He is a damage sponge. Let's see if I have numbers here. Super Shredder will take 56 special hits from Leo, 41 from Mike, or 224 dive kicks.
My god, I didn't realize there was that many dive kicks.
Yeah, it's a slugfest.
And it's more than that with 2-player. I think it's like 1.5 times or something like that.
Yeah, he has a tremendous amount of health in 2-player.
His attacks are random, but you want him to hope he'll do like this charge attack at you because he loses all his iframes.
Yeah, the lightning bolt thing.
Yeah, he did it once. There it is.
Yeah, so when he does that, Mike is able to hit twice per kangaroo kick, whereas otherwise you can sometimes get him twice depending on in what direction he flinches, and that is time.
That was a really good
Looked
fight.
like a 36-49 or so.
He got points too.
He did, yeah. So,
Yeah.
Sometimes the game doesn't give you points for killing Shredder, and we don't know why. Yeah, that was a really good run, though.
Yeah.
Very well done. Yeah, this game is, it's super scary to run. It's just so volatile because you're playing at low health for the entire game. You can have, you can play through 6 stages without dying, or you can die 5 times in one stage. It's just a matter of what the enemies choose to do to you.
Awesome. Well, thank you, PJ. Thank you, Mecha Richter. That was really, really good commentary for a really good run. So thanks a lot for helping out.
My pleasure.
Yeah, our pleasure. Thanks for having us.
And we will be right back with TMNT4 with Conster running it. And we have Dark Alexander doing commentary for that one. And we do have a $20 donation that came in during that run from Anonymous with no message. So thank you, Anonymous. We will be right back.